What's up, folks? It is Jafer, and today we're going to take a look at the XTEN Control. It is definitely a mouse pad that turned heads over the summer, given its price tag of $100 USD. Now, spoiler alert, that is going to be absolutely insane no matter how you look at it to justify this purchase, but I was really curious about it, and Lethal Gaming Gear provided me with a unit to test out, so I do appreciate them for doing so. And let's take a look together and see if this is really worth $100. Coming in at the measurements of 460 by 400 millimeters, it's a tad shy of hitting that usual 480 millimeter size that we all kind of grown accustomed to, but that 20 millimeters is not going to break your swings or swipes. But I am curious as to why they went with a rather smaller size than the normal. Maybe it's just to be different, but what is not different and what I do appreciate is that it is 3 millimeters thick, which is perfect for me. Underneath is quite possibly my new favorite base, and it's going to be this synthetic rubber with tiny little threads that kind of gives it a really good grip on any surface. Now, one of their biggest things with marketing this product is that it does have 3 layers, which in most cases most mouse pads do, but the most common one you're going to find off the shelf is really just going to be the surface and then a foam or rubber base. But this does have 3 parts to it. The edges are not stitched, and I know what you're thinking, $100 mouse pad with no stitch edges, like what the It wasn't until I got a lot of hours into it where the edges are smooth and they don't really cut into my arm. But keep in mind, I do recommend a gaming sleeve just to pertain the longevity of this. If you have like abrasive clothing, something that's going to rub up against this a lot, I think fraying is going to be more evident than my experience with it. Interestingly enough, the corners aren't rounded like other pads. Literally nothing but an aesthetic difference. Top layer had me fooled. At first it looked like a Heen surface and I thought to myself, oh god, here we go again with another Heen clone. I couldn't be more wrong. Sure, it has that shiny, almost sparkly tone to it from a distance, like it does with the Heen, but it's so much more comfortable to use. It's not as abrasive. It gives that appearance of a rough shape. It is super smooth, but definitely I would say a tad rougher than your average like GSR, Artisan Zero, other popular control pads. Fortunately, it doesn't collect my dog's entire coat of fur like the Artisan Zero does. Performance, what does it feel like? Is it worth $100? Short answer, no. Long answer, I love gaming on this. There's very noticeable dynamic friction. When I was actually getting lucky on swings, I have full control from point A to point B. There's static friction, but none that felt too muddy or tacky when you're adjusting those micro adjustments. Make no mistake though, it was an easy transition for me to switch over given the similar properties that I felt with the Artisan Zero and the XTEN Control. The biggest for me is that the XTEN Control has a much firmer feel to it, and braking on it was really just using slight pressure, and that's really going to be with any mouse pad that you use, but they definitely do utilize the materials that are built with this mouse pad to have a profound effect when you are braking with adding that pressure onto the mouse. It's by no means a hard cloth pad, but it does have that recognizable dense layer to it. I've yet to notice any difference on the X and Y axis. It all felt similar, and taking a closer look, there really seems to be no noticeable difference. And there were no dead spots forming on the pad as I've used it over time. And this is me just having it for right around 3 weeks now. It's been consistent throughout. And one thing I always touch on is that I'm in Arizona, so I don't have a good gauge on humidity and the environmental impact on a pad. But this is something that they do pronounce loudly and proudly that, humidity is not a factor with this pad. But I didn't notice anything at all. I tried it on a handful of mice with different third-party feed, and I much preferred the Esports Tiger Ice when using this pad. It countered the pad's control surface really well. I don't recommend using a mouse on the pad with your standard out-of-the-box feet unless it's per se a Razer mouse of recent years. I would say if you have the money and you're really looking to spend money, by all means grab the XTEN Control because it is definitely an outstanding control pad. But don't think for a second that, if you're looking at your UBA, your Radar, your GSR, whatever it may be, and you're looking to replace it with something better, I don't think that that's going to be the option here. $100 is not going to improve your game that much because at the end of the day, boomer advice here. It's all about how much time and effort you put into that game to really develop your skill, and a mouse pad is not going to be the item that's going to make or break you. It is incredibly crucial to the setup of your gaming, throne, but $100 is a lot to swallow, and that's something that is always going to be at the back of my mind whenever I use this pad, as much as I do love it. But until next time, I am Jafer. If you did like the video, please throw a like and hit that subscription button down below. I would appreciate that. And always, until next time, stay safe.